What up? It's your boy King Down 225 coming at you with another reactionary video. So hit that like and subscribe, become part of the kingdom. Man, I saw this. Man, and I follow Just Pearly Things. I agree with her on a lot of issues when it comes to manospheres topics. But I've always told my community, the young men out there, be careful. Our alliance with the manosphere as a whole should be tentative at best until I hear their opinions on race. And although this video is very fucking cringy to me, this is the reason why critical race theory should be implemented and mandatory in all schools. Fuck what they talking about. We were forced to learn American history, but they always leave out the part that pertains to us. We ain't gonna really talk about that, cause usually when it pertains to us, it'd be some fucked up shit they done did. This is a very cringy video. First of all, they want to talk about racism in America versus Europe with a English black man and an American white lady. Oh my God, what do we expect to hear from these two? Then she start quoting Thomas Sowell. Well, we respect his education in the community. We never gonna be dismissive on an educated, intelligent brother. But we generally don't agree with what the fuck he says or how he feels. How we feel about him is the same way we feel about Candace Owens. You know, those type of black people we call Uncle Rucker-ish. Educate yourself. You don't know what I'm talking about? Go watch Boondocks, and you'll get a good old picture of Uncle Ruckers. We call them house Negroes who always excuse the actions of the perpetrator and blame the victim. There's no such thing as systematic racism. It's all black people's fault. Man, and then for you to get one, let me just start playing the clip, bro, because it started off. Man, I shouldn't be. I'm disappointed, but I shouldn't be. I should expect this, bro. I'm from Louisiana. You speak of Louisiana. Our culture is more than what this man in this one book that you picked up and like educate yourself. There are different points of view within the community. We are not a monolithic people, bro. Like educate. Let's get to this shit, man. Before I get all hot and bothered.
In America, or do you think the racism problem in America is different than like Europe? Because you're from America, I'm not.
Racism. I know. People are. I don't really. I don't see much racism in America.
Why would you? Why would you? Like, white people really don't believe white privilege exists. I'm not privileged. I don't see racism at all. But black people, me and my homeboy coined a phrase when we were in high school called the black experience. It's like that. Like every black person know what I mean. I can't explain it to you. I can't show you. I can't teach you. And everything I say to people, it always sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, 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 wah. That's why I'm trying to tell my people it's time to stop talking to people and just let's get active, like MTR say.
And I know they're gonna say that's like because I'm white or whatever, but
they were like, you too white to see it.
But I don't like where I'm from. Like everyone's pretty nice. Like I'm from Huntley.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, it's like a suburb of Chicago.
Right.
So.
Because that's the thing. I think sometimes like black people in America, a lot of the time, in my experience, they see racism differently from people in Europe who are not in America.
Oh yeah, that's true actually.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's because of Well,
say it, pal. Say it.
No, it's because have you ever read this book?
It's on my shelf. I haven't read it yet.
So it talks about when race relations are the worst. Okay, and in the U.S., basically.
You didn't show me the book.
Oh yeah. Sorry, guys. And it's Thomas Sowell, Black Rednecks, White Liberals, and it talks about like when race relations are like the worst in the U.S. It comes from the culture, like black culture in the U.S. And when I think of, I don't even like saying black culture because it's really not black culture because it comes from East England, and basically East England, like it was the slave owners in the antebellum South, and in the antebellum.
See, that's one man's opinion. Slave owners in antebellum South. But Louisiana culture in particular is a lot of mixtures of other nationalities than England. I mean, the French Quarter was built by the Spanish. You feel me?
Antebellum South, like basically it was a lot of the dialects, like you was, you be, like kind of the dialects that you hear in like rap culture a lot. So that culture, it was from the slave owners from East England, and it was in the antebellum South.
Right.
And 9 out of every 10 black people back then had that culture, and 1 out of every 3 white people did. And a lot of the
okay.
See, she talking about the AAV, the African American Vernacular English. I made a video about that and how it's not Ebonics. We're not speaking broken English. Black people created our own language, and he said it in the video that we got bits and pieces of our language from them, but we also added to. But language is not a culture. Like, it's not. And you need. It's a difference. It's a difference between the culture and the community. I'm gonna let them finish, and then I'm gonna keep educating them.
Yeah. So a lot of the really poor times when the race relations were really bad, it was when a group of people from the South came to the North. But you can see like they would say the same things about the white people that immigrated. Like the same way they would describe like black people back then was the same way they described white people, and that's why you'd see things like Irish need not apply because it was that culture.
In the UK, they had no blacks, no Irish, no dogs.
Oh, okay.
Like on their signs, like places.
And basically that culture is like extremely unproductive. It's like they had, I want to say, 67% of the dairy cows were in the antebellum South, but they only made like 8% of the dairy.
Why?
Because it's just a very
unproductive culture. Mike, the reason why they was so unproductive in producing milk because they spent most of their fucking time picking cotton. Could that be the reason? Picking tobacco? Sugar cane? Like, oh my fucking God, now we gotta milk the fucking cows? Seriously? That's we unproductive. Nah, we work all day picking the motherfucking cotton. But because we ain't get the cows, oh y'all niggas lazy. See, that's another tale that America has pushed. That's another fucking lie fabrication that black people are lazy. The Africans come over here, I'll hustle you. Listen. I beg to differ. I know a lot of hard working. Like my brother is, man, that dude go to work. All he do is work and sleep. Ask his children. This is ridiculous. Oh, this shit that they perpetuated. I always say America did this. American media. They always projected one image of us like these the only type of black people that exist. It's the lazy ones who don't want to work, who out. See all these the gaslight. When I tell you the black people are the original gaslit people. Every complaint we fucking say is always dismissed. Let's continue this shit, bro. Like, they got 30% of the cows. And I still think she's an ally for men. But like I say, bro, our community, Difference between the community and the culture, just pearly things is community consists of black people. The culture consists of the hip hop community. Everybody in the black community don't fuck with hip hop, and everybody in hip hop ain't black. It's a
productive culture. It's like it's. I don't want to say black culture because it's really not. It's like the rap culture that you see, where it's like an emphasis on religion, but it's like, it's not really.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's,
they want to thank God for everything, but they're doing all kinds of crazy
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah, and you would.
the rap culture, my nigga. Oh my god, I wasn't supposed to say that shit. Fuck that. I'm gonna be me. Rap was invented in the 70s. It was birthed my year. I say rap was birthed in 79 with Rapper's Delight. 79. 79. You understand this? Racism don't exist. I'm going to educate you a little. You need to go watch Hidden Colors. I'm going to keep saying that throughout this video so she can go watch Tariq Nasheed's Hidden Colors so she can get a little education. You know, she get education on, we speak on this red pill shit, the patriarchy. Let me tell you how the patriarchy really is. The patriarchy was a argument between the white man and the white woman. And the black woman got fucking involved in it and drug us in it because the patriarchy in America is this: white man, white woman, black man, black woman, black man. So how the fuck is this dude who all the way down here part of the patriarchy? Let's continue, man. But go watch Hidden Colors. Educate yourself. Don't listen to no one dude who we really don't fuck with because of his opinion. Not that he don't have a right to have his opinion, but I'm sick of the Candace Owen type motherfucker, the Officer Tatum, who always excuse the actions of, oh, liberals are the problem, the conservatives are our best friends. It ain't the good white man problem. It's them goddamn niggas who lazy don't want to work. Fuck out of here.
The number one way people died in the South was someone looked at them weird in a sign of disrespect.
And what year was this?
I was just reading this the other day, but
Say, bro, don't, as a black person, don't that sound like a bullshitting ass lie? But these two would never get it because they not FBA or ADOS. They will never get it. I'm keep telling y'all, they will never get the black experience, bro. It don't compute. It don't. Like, the majority of the deaths in the South, that sound like some shit out of a news article in the 80s about the super predators. But it ain't no racism exists. Remember super predators, the crime bill? First, let's talk about, we ain't gonna even talk about slavery. Racism don't exist. And you say, you know, it's about the, no, I'm gonna let her finish before I ramble a little bit. Let her continue about the culture and how that's what people discriminate. Not black people. It's the hip hop culture. Hip hop was invented in 79. Created before then. Gestation period. Birth 79. So you mean tell me all the shit that happened before the culture was even birth wasn't racism?
I don't know, but if literally it's like this part of the book,
Right.
where it talks about, they call it the.
So when you say people died, what people died? Black people died.
Oh, both. Black, white.
Right.
It was one out of every. It was people with the antebellum South culture that came from East England.
Right. Okay, I didn't know that.
And so the reason I think that it's like a little bit different is because like more people, black and white people, have that culture in the U.S. Like, and that's why I think it's different, because the culture died out mostly in England.
So that's why you think like racism is different in like Europe than it is America.
So if black people and white people got the same culture to speak of in America, why the fuck black people are treated differently from white people? Explain that to me. If you saying that blacks and whites got that culture from the South, why the fuck are blacks treated differently? Why aren't those, if it's about the culture, how come white people with that culture ain't treated the same as black people with that culture?
America, I think it
Don't
is in
make sense,
America
y'all.
because I think it's a little bit like worse, I would say, in America, but I don't really think it's race as much as that culture. I think people discriminate against that culture, which is like rap culture.
Rap.
All right. So do you think because rap?
Blame the fucking rappers. It's always the rappers' fault. Rap was birthed to be the voice of the community, the youth. But guess who promotes the culture that y'all speaking of? Is it the white record labels? Who, okay, this is how we gonna make money. They just gonna kill each other and we gonna profit off it. See let's see, you need to educate yourself, bro. Don't pick up no one book. It's like, what if somebody one day picked up a book on Charles Darwin? They're like, oh, this evolution, this it. Ain't nothing else. We ain't progressed since that point, and him proving to be wrong. Man, don't no one person have the answer for the community. You need a Malcolm X, you need a Martin Luther King. Thomas Sowell, he might have some good points. I give him that. But just like I give Candace Owens, sometimes she make a point. But she don't speak for us. They sell out to us.
Culture is such a big culture now that black people, because I know I'm a black man.
Yeah.
People have assumed I can rap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't rap for shit, right?
I can.
Well, there you go, you probably rap better than me. But it's like, because the culture's been exported and it's been seen as a norm.
Yeah.
The culture was started in the 70s, okay? So we're not going to talk about slavery, the 3/5 of a human being, all that shit, and y'all explain it away because it's the culture, how they talk, the language they speak, right? That's why they discriminate against, right? We're not going to talk about all this. You can find out in Hidden Colors. Go watch it. Tariq Nasheed, Hidden Colors. I'm plugging that shit because you need to get your education. You know what I'm talking about? We're going to talk about when we were free. They created unions to block us for the skilled labor from obtaining jobs. But that's, we're not going to talk about the Tuskegee experiment. That ain't race ever before 79. Racing just happened when rap started. Blame the rappers. So, Tuskegee experiment, they wouldn't accept us in war, even though we died in every war. England even lied, say they were going to free us, but you lost in the American Revolution. We died and fought in every war. We built this country, and we always gaslit. Well, racism don't really exist. I mean, when I was a little boy, not a little boy, I think I was 16 when they told Rodney King ass out the frame. You know what I'm saying? Like, blam, 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 blam. Oh, it's 2020. Things changed. Then George Floyd hit. Right? But racism don't exist. It's against that culture. George Floyd don't look like no goddamn rapper.
That's what I made a video called "I'm Sick of the Black Community," right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I said is that our underbelly has become our upper echelon as black people. It's like we don't glorify the things that we should be glorifying. We glorify the underbelly. So I know that as a black man, someone said to me, "Oh yeah, you must know, someone that sells drugs." No.
Yeah.
But you assume so because the culture has been exported so cleverly that you think that I'm like that.
Well, I find it.
So I'd be wrong to assume that I think all white people do drugs too. So is that, like, I don't understand what that means. Like, I don't get that part. That's because you think they ask you about some drugs and you black. As if a black person wouldn't ask a white guy what weed at. Like, that's preposterous. That's kind of like weird.
different in Europe because, like, Nigeria, like, when I see people from, like, Africa and Nigeria, they don't have that culture.
They really don't.
And they don't talk about racism ever.
Well, you can't. Well, it's a black continent. It's like, where's the racism? It's like, we're all black.
No, I mean, like, the ones that I meet that are, like, from, like, that came here.
Do you know why? Because I said my family are from the Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
So our thing is, okay, so when you're in Africa or in the Caribbean, your whole thing is, if you go to England or America or wherever, you work your hardest because you got people back home that you need to feed, right? So black people that come from out,
like a black man don't say, you go work your hardest because you got people in this house you got to feed. Like this notion that 50 million African Americans are fucking that lazy needs to stop, bro. Like, everybody need to kill this shit, bro. Like, it really hurts my fucking nerves. Like, all 50 million of us are a bunch of lazy bums living off the American government. Don't want nothing but handouts and sympathy. Man, this...
outside of America to the West or to America have a different mindset, and they say, I'm just here to get it done, get work done, do my thing, send money back home.
Nigerian American.
That's, first of all, we not gonna skip over the divide between African Americans and the diaspora as a whole. We not gonna skip over that. We know how Africans feel about African Americans. And African Americans know how we feel about Africans. We just gonna leave it there. I just wanna always point out the fact that, you know, Africans help enslave African Americans. And then they got this toot your nose up, like you're not pure. Something wrong with you. Look, ha ha ha, you ain't nothing but a thugs. You ain't nothing but a bunch of thugs and criminals. Because that's all you saw from American media. That's all they projected us. That's all. Again, when I was in school, we doing Black History Month, the shortest month of the year. I'm not complaining. But Black History Month, you just learn about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. You ain't know nothing about Black Wall Street. In fact, that happened before the 1970s. Go look at Black Wall Street. They didn't teach us about Black Wall Street in school. Well, slavery happened, it was bad. Then America was great. Like, you don't grasp. You don't really grasp. Like, we talking about this patriarchy shit again. Me and my woman were actually abused by this dude and his wife. Then we have children. They take our children away from us. Go look at Hidden Colors again. Tariq Nasheed, where he talks this. What is this? I don't know her name. Shahrazad Ali. She talked about, like, black women have a grudge against black men in America. Like, the trauma has been passed down from generation to generation from slavery, because we wasn't strong enough to fight and defend and protect our women. They hold a grudge against us to this fucking day. Go educate. I mean, I'm not gonna knock this discussion, because sometimes these discussions need to happen. But you can't pick the one thing that you want to agree with and use that as the guidelines to race in America. Because you would never understand, because you're a white lady and you from England. I would never I could never speak on the racism in England. I would never say, man, black people ain't got that bad in England. Because I don't know what y'all motherfuckers been through. Only y'all have experienced it. It would be stupid of me to say, man, shit like that about England. Or people in the fucking Jamaica or Haiti or black people across the world who had to go through it. So how dare y'all don't even have an African American to correct y'all on the bullshit y'all saying and give y'all guidance? Go read W.E.B. Du Bois. Go read Marcus Garvey. Oh my God, don't pick up no one fucking Candace Owens book and tell me this is the answer. No, it's fucking not.
Americans outpace whites. So do Indian Americans.
Yeah, because Nigerians have a hustle mentality.
Yeah.
I'm around a lot of Nigerians.
But that's why I think it's like not so much race, it's that culture.
Hustling you out of shit. The original scammers. Don't get me fucking started.
Sure. I think people discriminate against that culture. And so in the 60s when race relations were really bad, the way they would measure race relations is like one, interracial marriages, and two, I can't remember the second way, but it was like a seemingly like credible way. And basically race relations were getting better up until like the 40s and 50s, and then in the 60s there was a huge mass of people that came from the South, the antebellum South, that came into the cities.
Right.
And so then
it was the black folk. They did it. Fuck the Harlem Renaissance. Fuck all that. Race got bad when black folk got here. Like, how you figure that race became an issue when black people showed up? Because you got an issue with black people? Okay.
That's when you started to see like black only, white only areas, which I'm not like, that's totally wrong, but I think they were more discriminating against the culture, because if you look at you don't think
it was a race thing? You think it was a culture thing?
I think it was more of a culture thing than a race thing, because if you look at the 1 out of 10 white black people that didn't come from that culture, that were raised up in like the Christian schools in the North, they were economically outpacing whites.
Yeah.
How many of America's forefathers owned slaves? And were they from the South? I'm not understanding this like, oh, that was just a Southern problem, and then when black people came to the North, it became like, I'm not understanding. Is that what Thomas Sowell saying in this goddamn book? He even worse than I thought.
But the thing, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I think the thing is that I think when it comes to racism, this is one of the things I say, a lot of the things that aren't spoken about is the subconscious mind of people, because we all have biases.
Yeah.
We can all say that we have biases, right? And so we don't know when biases are being used or not being used. So when you talk about that, like, if you've come from a culture for the last couple of 100 years that generally sees black people as slaves, generally, don't you think that bias towards black people being quote unquote less than would have influenced them when it came time for them to come and...
Well, sort of, but like half the population was the North, and they were fighting to free slaves. And then how would that make sense?
Another goddamn lie in history. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. Don't believe these goddamn lies that has been spewed in these motherfucking history books. But you know what they say, to the victor go the spoil, so they write history as they... Man, America did not go in the Civil War because of fucking slavery. That, like, America, again. I'm from the South. Y'all gonna say, oh man, you just saying that from the Southern perspective. It was agriculture, South. It was industrial, North. They were fighting it out to see who were going to be the main thing in America. Slavery was just a means to an end, an afterthought. Oh yeah, so how can we bully the South to make them industrialized to follow our way of thinking? Oh, dang, I got an idea. We gonna free labor. We gonna let all they work go. They free workers go. Because y'all don't want to call it slavery. That ain't what that bad. We're going to let all they free labor go. That's going to collapse their economy. So please, 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 we are appreciative that you allow, that you allowed to free us. We're very appreciative of that. You know what I'm saying? That half of you who profited off it, the cotton that the South was producing went straight to New York. That most of the North were profiting off slavery. Then we decided, we're gonna change trajectory on the economy. So don't make it seem like, it was just compassion. We just fighting. It was a few abolitionists. I get them that. But come on, man. Don't give me that shit about, the North was different from the South.
With like the 1 out of every 3 black people in Louisiana owned slaves. And there was like a lot of
because you export the culture. If you export the culture of black people are slaves, if you export that psychology, it's gonna permeate.
Would you say then like black people are also prejudiced against like black people?
Of course.
So you think it's like the same? Okay.
Yeah, because if you like I said, that's why black people can come up to me and white people can come up to me and ask me the same question.
This is the difference between prejudice and racism. Okay, racism is strictly to judge somebody off the color off their race and skin color. Prejudice is to prejudge. I can prejudge any shade I goddamn please. That's not racism. It's a difference. So if I'm being prejudiced, like, oh man, he look like he gonna be trouble and he black, that's not racism. I'm trying to determine our interaction. Oh, that person look like he's a bit perturbed. That's prejudging. Oh, that person seems like he's happy. That's prejudging. You don't know if they really happy?
Question.
Yeah.
Because the culture's been exported so cleverly that even black people think of themselves in this way. And so if they're gonna if we're gonna think of ourselves in this way, that
I don't think of us that way. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm one of the 50 million don't believe what the fuck you talking about. I don't look at no black person. It's like everyone, you must know how to shoot a basketball. You must know how to rap.
That means of course general society is going to think of, do you know what I mean, black people in a certain way because the culture has been exported.
But when you're talking about general society, like it comes down to individuals, and I just don't see a lot of individuals like really heavily discriminating. Like
I won't lie, I don't either.
Yeah, like for even me, like I think every person I've hired's been black, and it's not like I was, it's just the people that showed up and wanted to do the job, and like I just don't see that much on like an individual basis.
But then that's the thing. That's what I was asking about Europe and America. Is it different?
Listen what she just said though. Maybe English black people different though, but she said everybody. Black people so lazy though. Everybody she hires black, not because of no particular reason other than they showed up. Oh, maybe we ain't lazy as they think we are.
Because the way in which I think black Americans, people in America, generally tend to think in my personal point of view, in very victim.
Yeah, but it goes back to like I think it's the culture. I think.
See, that's why we gotta stop talking to these people, bro. I don't want to talk about race with white people or nobody outside of my community no more. Like I'm talking to my community from this point on, cause it's always gonna fall on deaf ears. I'm not gonna waste my breath. It's a victim mentality. We always thinking in victim mentality, victim mentality, victim mentality. '79 happened, rap happened. Reagan was president. Reaganomics. Drug dealers, legendary drug dealers say Ronald Reagan was the greatest thing that ever happened to us. So they took our fathers away in the 80s with drugs. Oh, how did they do that? No, it couldn't possibly, the U.S. government couldn't have possibly put dope in the black community to fund a war in Cuba. No way possible that could happen. No way. We victims though. Anytime something happen to us, it's just like, man, come on, just forget about it. It happened. Leave it alone. You stop being a victim. And then when we say reparation, see, you weren't even a slave. You're such a victim. Just stop being a victim.
It's a victim status.
Being a victim is a culture.
Yeah, it was part of the antebellum South.
What up, man?
It was part of like that culture. Because again, remember, 9 out of every 10 black people derived from that culture in the South. 1 out of every 3 white people. And there's like an account in Indiana where they're describing like the whites that came from the South in Indiana, and it was very similar to the ways that they would describe the blacks that came into the cities.
Right. Okay.
So that's why I think people discriminate against the culture, and it just so happens.
I think race does have a factor though.
Sure. Yeah.
I think it does have a factor.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say, because it's like, would you prefer to be next door to black people who have a certain culture or black people who don't have a certain culture?
Man, listen. That pretty thing, we still rock with each other on that manosphere shit. Well, I keep telling my community, they ain't gonna never get it. They ain't gonna understand. They don't want to. They don't see it. They blind. They got their privilege. They alright. They cool. You know, Martin Luther King is just as anywhere, just as everywhere type shit. That's how we see. That's our problem. We always want to fuck. Man, leave this patriarchy shit alone. Leave all this, leave all these fights that we be fighting for all these other people, and they don't want to fight with us because we victims. We need to start fighting for our motherfucking selves. Leave the other shit, the other petty arguments, the other, you hear me, black men and black women? Because they never gonna get it. They never gonna understand. They don't give a fuck. We are victims. She pick up one goddamn book and she found the answer. That was it. Go watch Hidden Colors. Go educate yourself. Like, man, that's that bullshit. Hit that like, subscribe, become part of the channel. Yeah, you see the dislike.